Sony have been coming back strong over the last couple of years. We have seen how their Xperia Z series are holding their own, and the Z2 smartphone has really impressed us. The Z2 tablet is the second generation of tablet behind the original Z released last year. Is it worth the upgrade, or could it be a replacement to your laptop or netbook? On the face of it, there are not a great deal of differences between the original Z tablet and the Z2, but there are a few enhancements that make this an upgrade over the original. A new faster processor, more RAM, MHL 3.0, and the Z2 is now thinner and lighter. There is an obvious similarity between any Sony product labelled Xperia Z. That similarity is a gorgeous slab-like form factor that has an essence of class and reservedness about it, but something that subliminally calls you to pick it up and find out what it's all about. The Z2 tablet is most certainly sharper on every edge than the smartphones. There is curvature, but more subtle. The touchscreen dominates the front of the Z2 tablet until the screen comes on, where it is quite apparent that there is a very thick bezel on each edge, thickest on the right and left side. Almost unnoticeable are the stereo speakers, each located almost in the lower corners. They look like small cutouts between the display and the side of the tablet. Compared to the original tablet, the height and width are the same, but Sony have managed to knock 0.5mm off the thickness, and the weight has dropped from 495 to 439 grams for the 3 or 4G model that we are reviewing. That's 56 grams shaved off. That's quite a lot in my opinion. This stunner is, however, a bit of a fingerprint magnet with all that glass, so a cleaning cloth may be handy. To add to the charm and appeal, the Z2 tablet has an IP55 and 58 rating, which means this tablet can be submerged in fresh water at a depth of 1.5 meters for up to 30 minutes. It's not uncommon in a modern family home that the tablet is used in the kitchen or bathroom, so if like me you often end up reading recipes off a screen, you can wash your hands and touch the tablet without the need to dry them. Get some dirt or debris on the tablet? No need to be careful, just rinse it under the tap. The screen on the Z2 tablet is the same 10.1 inch HD display found on the original Z tablet. With a resolution of 1920 by 1200 and a PPI of 224, the PPI is just under half that of the Z2 smartphone that has 424 PPI, but the Z2 tablet is a bigger screen. If you want to be picky, you can find fault with the PPI, but honestly, for the vast majority of the on-screen experience is extremely good. With Android 4.4 KitKat out of the box, no one can criticise Sony for being behind the curve. Sony do tweak Android, it's not stock, but remains considerably closer than the likes of Samsung devices. Additions to the software primarily include Sony's multimedia suite of applications, from Sony Music Unlimited to Track ID, but there are a few others I feel are a worthwhile addition. The Z2 tablet has an IR port, which allows you to use the Z2 as remote control for your TV. It's quite a good feature, especially when a large proportion of tablet use is when we're sat in our lounge and watching media on the TV at the same time. Extra apps inevitably eat away at the memory. Of the 16 gig on board, approximately 10.5 to 11 gig is actually usable, which isn't too bad all things considered. However, an extra 1 or 2 gig would be nice. There is the addition of the Microsd memory card slot, which can support Microsd memory cards up to 64 gig. The Z2 is a powerhouse, and with 3 gig of RAM supporting the 2.3 GHz quad-core processor, multitasking is effortless. Lag is not really a word you will be considering when operating this super slim, SIM-free tablet. Personalization is available in all manner of ways, from changing the stock wallpapers and themes of the device to sound and notifications. Google services are naturally present, meaning that you can download your favorite apps very easily. Many will even start downloading automatically if you input your Google account details. Be it personal, business or educational, the Z2 is appropriate for each. It will not look out of place in any environment and can be configured in a way that works for you. This may surprise many, but amongst all of this is a fully fledged mobile phone. Make and receive calls on the Z2 tablet and send and receive text messages too. You may not want to hold this to your ear, but pair up a Bluetooth headset and the Z2 tablet is one extremely powerful solution. Some small extra apps are included on the Z2. Press and hold on the running apps key, and at the bottom you're presented with a list of apps such as a calculator, stopwatch, sound recorder and screen capture tool. These small apps sit in windows on top of Android, can be moved about on screen and retain their position even as the tablet is being used in the background. Only upon closing will they disappear. As I'm often asked about notification lights, I should let you know that you can turn this on and off within the settings. As you would expect, the newest Bluetooth, Wi-Fi and GPS standards are all included, so basic functions such as internet connectivity, streaming and street level navigation are covered. How about when you're on the move and out of range of a wireless network? Well, in this instance, you can fall back on the 3 and 4G connections thanks to the built-in SIM slot. You can use the magnetic pins on the bottom of the tablet to charge it without the need to open the slightly fiddly port cover. You will require a DK39 dot, although this will not only charge the phone but also hold it at a viewing angle, ideal for a mobile office setup. Connect a PlayStation controller or a USB memory stick to the Z2 with a USB host cable and expand the capabilities of the Z2 even further. The Z2 tablet is one of the first devices to offer MHL 3.0, great for showing off photos, videos or giving a presentation. MHL 3.0 enables 4K output from the phone. There is no 4K video recording on this tablet, so any true 4K output will have to be content that has been downloaded. At the time of recording, the MHL adapter required for true 4K output is not available. Thankfully, the port is backwards compatible, so the best option is 1080p currently. For those that have DLNA or Microsd built into their displays, be it internal or through the use of an adapter, the Z2 tablet can share content without wires. NFC is increasingly common in accessories and is therefore included in this tablet. The NFC tag is located on the back just below the camera. As with the Xperia Z2 phone, the only connectivity option in my mind missing is wireless charging, but this is not really something that is demanded on a tablet, so this would be too critical to say that the tablet lacks as a consequence. Being a Sony mobile device, access to their Music Unlimited service is available for streaming. There is of course the option to install your own preferred music app. Also included is their Walkman application that looks for music stored on the device or memory card. It's fairly self-explanatory and offers everything a common music app would, from organising music by artists to creating playlists. Sony have put a lot of effort into the speakers on the Z2 tablet, and they're really quite impressive. Max the speakers out and they sound fairly balanced. Despite being stereo speakers, they do not offer quite the same depth and clarity as HTC's boom sound, but then again they don't make a tablet. The volume is more than loud enough, and you can generally get a reading of low to mid 80s in terms of decibels. S-Force front surround audio technology works quite well to give that cinematic experience without the need for separate speakers. Depending on your particular preferences, you can switch different modes on and off within the sound enhancements and also set your own personal preferences. When the Z2 first landed on my desk, I played some audio out of it, and a couple of people in the office asked what device was playing that. When they heard it was the tablet, they were pleasantly surprised. Using the Z2 tablet as your primary image capturing tool would not be my advice unless you infrequently use it, but it does offer some pleasing results. Rated at 8 megapixels, the camera does not boast the 20.7 snappers we have seen in their phone range. There is no flash on the camera either, but it does still have a wide variety of shooting modes and HD video recording, offering, in my opinion, more than enough for the average user. All the normal camera controls you expect are included, from controlling the white balance, self-timer, resolution, HDR and more. You should note that there is no physical camera shutter button on the Z2 tablet, but the volume keys can be set as a shutter, although these default as zoom controls. All told though, for what I would imagine most would be using this tablet for, the camera results and options are very good, and I would happily use this more than I may on some other tablets I've tested before. Built into this glorious bit of hardware is a battery which is 6,000 mAh in capacity, capable of up to 10 hours of continuous movie playback. That usage you can get from the Z2 tablet should be more than adequate. More demanding users should get a normal working day from it, whereas the lighter user may get 2. The previous generation didn't fare too well for battery performance for many, with even the lighter users finding the need to charge quite regularly. The Z2 has improved slightly, we feel, but perhaps not enough for most. We found that in a 24-hour period with relatively light usage, the battery discharged by about 40%, and during this time no wireless connections were actually turned on. Sony's stamina mode can assist with this, as can being more careful with settings such as backlight and always-on connections. I certainly found that unlike my Asus TF701T transformer pad, I could not come back regularly to it over about 3 or 4 days to find plenty of power left in it. The transformer does have approximately 7,000–8,000 mAh compared to the 6,000 of the Sony. Sony have taken the right approach with accessories, from cases to magnetic charging docks to keyboards. The Z2 tablet can be transformed into a complete mobile workstation. The Z2 tablet inevitably has competition from Samsung Camp and Apple. Choosing between Apple, Sony and Samsung is ultimately going to be a preference of OS. Strictly speaking, the closest challenger to the Z2 is Samsung's Galaxy Tab Pro 10.1 series of devices, which are generally well featured but do not have the desirability of the Sony products. The interface is also much heavier on the memory. In some respects it's more user-friendly, but it really comes down to personal opinion. As far as specs, it's a close-fought title. Where Sony exceeds in one field, the Samsung excels in another. Samsung's biggest advantage is the battery at 2000 mAh more, but the compromise is the weight. At the time of recording, the Z2 tablet 4G model is to be sold for $499.99 including VAT, which I think is about right and on par with Apple and Samsung. The Sony Xperia Z line of smartphones and tablets are gaining more recognition globally, but probably not as much as they deserve. The big marketing budgets and presence of Samsung and Apple products give Sony a tough time to compete, but the Z2 is very capable. It is desirable and has the processing power and might to give the competition a very good run for its money. The battery life is the biggest disappointment, but this isn't the biggest issue all told. If you own the original Tablet Z, then there isn't really enough reason to move to the Z2, but if you're looking for a replacement Android tablet or getting one for the first time, then I can assure you the Z2 is not going to leave you feeling you need more.